Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Popcorn Podcast. I'm Tommy Cresto, one of the hosts of this show, and this is another one of the solo episodes, just in between the normal episodes that me and Ryan do. And in this episode, in no particular order, I'm going through some of the biggest surprises for me of 2024. This is just the film side, and this is good surprises, not bad surprises. The reason for this is because we're also going to be doing a best and worst episode, which we do every year, and it will be, I think, our top 10 favorite things of the year, and then our top 10 least favorite things of the year, or 5. We haven't really came up with that part yet, but yeah, so that's why we wanted to do this, just for the movies that don't make my top 10, and they still were a really good film that I really enjoyed, and I think more people should go watch them. So with that being said, I think I have 12 films. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. Yes, 12 films. So starting off with the first film, and that is going to be Land of Bad, directed by William Eubank. It had a budget of $18.7 million. This film starred Russell Crowe, Liam Hemsworth, Luke Hemsworth, Milo she played Sugar, Ventimiglia, and then Ricky Whittle. And this film was really fun action film. It had to do with the U.S. military, which was cool. It's about a Delta Force team that is ambushed in enemy territory, and a rookie officer refuses to abandon them. Their only hope lies with an Air Force drone pilot as the eyes in the sky during a brutal 48-hour battle for survival. And it did a really good job keeping realism with the combat. And it's just a good film. You feel everything for Liam Hemsworth. The punches, the shots, the stabbings, you feel every bit of it in this movie. The explosions. It was just a really well done action thriller. And I think more people need to go watch it because it was a really, really good time. And it was for a while, it was on my top 10 movie of the year list. It since has been knocked off of that list. What else did this guy direct? I know movies that William Eubank has directed. Maybe I don't. Why do I? I did Next of Kin. That's why. Next of Kin is a Paranormal Activity film. But yeah, this is the first one of the year. This was an earlier film from the year. But yeah, really good time. I really think people need to go watch it. What is it currently? What can you watch? It's on Netflix right now. It has a 6.6 out of 10 IMDb, 67% Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So that's our first one on the list. The second one is a movie that I actually had to apologize to because of how mean I was to it before I went and saw it. And that is The First Omen, the first horror movie on this list. I believe we have 3 or 4 horror movies on this list that I went off by the trailers. And this being the first one, because this First Omen trailer, I'm still watching it now. It's a terrible trailer. Bad marketing. I just was not invested in this story at all. But then I went and saw it. And this film is awesome. Nell Tiger-Free as Margaret is unbelievable. Ralph Ineson as Father Brennan is so good. Maria Caballero as Louise, awesome. Just Sonia Braga as Sister Sylvia, amazing. Sister Angelica is Star Curry Wilson, was also unbelievable. The writing in this is so well done, and its scares are worth it. It doesn't feel like it's cheap jump scares the whole time. There's some really tension building sequences. And it seems like I'm not the only one that believes this because it does have an 83% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So very high scores, especially for the horror world. And it is funny that some people out there did not realize going into it that this was a prequel to The Omen, the original. And I just think that's a really funny thing because, of course, I'm a huge fan of the first Omen. Definitely don't love it as much as I used to. But I was still very excited for this movie, and you can watch this without any idea it's an Omen film, and it still makes sense. But of course, the synopsis: a woman starts to question her own faith when she uncovers a terrifying conspiracy to bring about the birth of the evil incarnate in Rome. This was directed by Arkasha Stevenson. It had a budget of $30 million, and it, of course, as I said, is a prequel to The Omen. Yeah, so great job. She made this is like her first big film. She'd have a film Vessels, but they're 9 years apart. But yeah, The First Omen, genuinely love this film, and I have to rewatch it soon. But yeah, it's up there. It was a really entertaining film. You can watch that on Hulu currently. Hulu, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. Next for on this list is a movie that I knew I said from beginning to end was going to be good since the first trailer, but I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. And that is Civil War, Alex Garland's Civil War. This starred Kaylee Spaney, Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Jesse Plemons, Stephen McKinley, Nick Offerman. I mean, this movie was great. Jefferson White. This film was fantastic. In a dystopian world, dystopian future America, a team of military embedded journalists race across time to reach Washington, D.C. before the rebel factions descend upon the White House. And this is because Nick Offerman's president is trying to run for a third term. And as we know, that's not allowed. And yeah, this film currently has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 75 on Metacritic, with only a 69 on Google, which I think is kind of crazy. I do want to see what the audience scores for this. Only 69 audience scores, so it seems like critics like this more than audiences did. But it had a budget of $50 million, made $126.2 million. As of course, this was an A24 film, directed and written by Alex Garland. And I just want to give a shout out to Rob Hardy, who did the cinematography for Civil War. This film is stunning. And I know people got mad at the posters or AI. It doesn't really bother me when they do like posters, stuff like that. Just don't use it for the actual writing or the visuals of like the actual film. But yeah, this film was awesome. And the idea not to silence rounds, because when they're shooting in films, filmmaking, they end up in the editing room. They end up kind of editing how the bullets sound, so it's not as loud. It doesn't kick the heart rate as much. But Civil War did not silence the rounds, which makes it makes a lot of people's heart rate jump even higher than normal, which was really exciting. And the film, you feel like you're in every second of this film, especially the final act. The third act of this film was fantastic, and I genuinely think it's one of the better movies of the year, and I wish it got more recognition so far from the Golden Globes and all the other critical awards. But yeah, go check it out. It's on Hulu, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. This next one is a horror film as well, and this one could be the biggest surprise of 2024. And it has Abigail, the horror comedy about the ballerina dancing vampire. Quick synopsis is a group of would-be criminals kidnapped a 12-year-old girl of a powerful underworld figure. Holding her for ransom in an isolated mansion, their plan starts to unravel when they discover that their young captive is actually a bloodthirsty vampire. This film stars the sadly passed Angus Cloud, Melissa Barrera, Alicia Weir, who I think is going to be Dorothy in Wicked 2, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durand, and Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens was so good in this. Matthew Good's also in it, and Giancarlo Esposito and William Catlett. This cast was so much fun. And I think it's so sad when Angus Cloud sadly passed away. But Dan Stevens almost has 2 films on this list, but I didn't want to count King Kong vs. Godzilla because every King Kong so far and Godzilla in that universe has been pretty good. So it didn't surprise me that I enjoyed that one. But this was good because this movie sounded like if you gave this idea to people, they'd be like, this movie's terrible. There's nothing good about this that's going to work. And then you get, Tyler Gillett and Matthew Benatelli open, the guys who did the Scream 5 and Scream 6. You got them to direct it, and then you got Guy Busick and Steven Shields to write the screenplay. Brian Tyler did a fantastic score for this film. And it was just so much fun. It was so enjoyable. It genuinely had me laughing. It has a couple really good scares still. But yeah, it currently has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 62 on Metacritic with a 77 on Google, and an 84 audience score. So it seems like people really love it, and it's very practical filmmaking. There's a lot of practical filmmaking in it. And yeah, I think this movie is just so much fun. I would like to know how much money it made. Let's actually check that right now. Abigail box office, because it had a $30 million gross with a total of $42 million. Ooh. Okay, it didn't make a lot of money. Definitely flopped. Right? 20 million, 40 something million. Yeah, probably just broke even, which is not great. But still a really enjoyable film, and I think everyone should go watch it. It's on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. The next film in this is another horror movie, which I think I am surprised how good it was. I seem to not everyone agrees with me that it's really good, but For what it is very good. And this is In a Violent Nature, the horror slasher film, which is done from the slasher's perspective, which has yet to have been done before. It was directed by Chris Nash, and the synopsis is: when a group of teens take a locket from a collapsed fire tower in the woods, they unwittingly resurrect the rotting corpse of Johnny, a vengeful spirit spurred on by a horrific 60-year-old crime. The undead killer soon embarks on a bloody rampage to retrieve the stolen locket, methodically slaughtering anyone who gets in his way. This film made $4.6 million. Good for them. But yeah, Chris Nash and Pierce Dirks. Pierce Dirks needs to be nominated for this film. He's done... This is his first bigger movie, In a Violent Nature, but he was, unbelievable. It was one of the most beautiful movies of the year. And for a movie that's about a killer and has some of the most gruesome, first off, has the most gruesome kill I've ever seen in film. There's a scene where girls doing yoga, and it is disturbing. The peace that I felt with this movie when he was just walking around through the beautiful forest, and there's just no music except for the crunching in the woods. It is a beautifully peaceful movie. I would love to see more from Pierce Dirks. I think this cinematography is great, and I would love to see him get some more bigger films to do. And same with Chris Nash. I want to see him direct more. I want to see these two collaborate more. I loved how he directs this film, and for it to be focused on because we always wonder how the killer gets to place, and you get to see that in this movie. And the kills are great for the slasher stuff. This is definitely for you. And yeah, I think the writing was really good for a horror movie. Everything about it, I genuinely enjoyed myself watching this film, and I think everyone should go watch it In a Violent Nature. Unless you get a little queasy or stuff like that, then definitely don't watch it. But it is on AMC. AMC Plus is on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV. Oh, I don't know if I went through the scores. It has a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 78 on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3.4 out of 5 on Shudder. Next film, and I know people are going to be like, this isn't a surprise. It's a surprise that these films keep getting are just as good as the last ones. This is Bad Boys 4 Ride or Die. Besides the title, didn't love Ride or Die. Because I guess if it was Bad Boys for Life, that would have been a pretty great name. But yeah, again, Bad Boys 4. This franchise just continues to prove how good it is. And it says when their late police captain gets linked to drug cartels, wisecracking Miami cops Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett embark on a dangerous mission to clear his name. This film made $404 million. It was directed by Adil El Arabi and Patel Falal. They, for those who don't know, they were the directors of the canceled Batgirl film. And it was Robchek Huivert, the cinematographer, who again had some really, really good shots in this film. Very pretty film. For being a Bad Boys, which I guess the cinematography is always great in them because you have those sun glare shots everyone knows it for when Michael Bay was directing it. I'm trying to find out how much. Okay, so it was on a $100 million budget and made over $400 million. Damn. That is crazy how good Bad Boys did. But yeah, Bad Boys for Life. Will Smith, Vanessa Hudgens, Jacob Skippo? He played Will Smith's son in that. Martin Lawrence, Paulo Nunez, Eric Dane. Eric Dane was a really good villain in this too, as James McGrath. Dennis Green as Reggie. Reggie continues in each film to get more and more screen time, and he deserves every second of screen time he gets in this franchise. John Sally, Joe Pantalone, he's the captain. Tiffany Haddish, Ian Gruft, Charles Melton's in this. Joyner Lucas is in it. DJ Khaled, Michael Bay. There's just so many people are in this franchise. Rhea Seehorn, Tasha Smith, of course, plays Martin Lawrence, Marcus's wife. Just this film was so much fun. It has some of the best shots and filmmaking that any of them had so far. And it continues to improve on themselves because I think the first one was great. I think the second one really struggled, in my mind at least. Third one, Bad Boys for Life, was really enjoyable. And then I didn't think we were ever going to get another one after the incident with Will Smith at the Oscars, but we did. And it has that 6 points, as I said, 65 Rotten Tomatoes, 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 3.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It continues to improve on itself. It knows not to take itself too seriously. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are just a perfect dynamic duo. and I cannot wait for the fifth one because I know they're going to do another one. It's going to make $400 million, and they keep improving, keep being better and better and better. So I'm all in. I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. But yeah, go check it out on Netflix, YouTube, and Amazon Prime. Okay, this is going to be a controversial take on saying a surprise. So I'm going to clarify. I am a huge fan of the Alien franchise. We're doing an Aliens ranking episode. I felt the biggest butterflies of my life getting to see Alien in IMAX last year when it had its anniversary. It was absolutely amazing time. And this franchise is one of my favorite franchises in the world. So when they announced Alien Romulus, I was very excited because I like Prometheus, I like Covenant. And then they announced that Fede Alvarez was going to direct it, and I was sold. That's all you had to tell me. But at the same time, I didn't know because it felt like whenever they let someone else direct it who wasn't James Cameron or Ridley Scott, it didn't always work, which just made me a little nervous. Knowing Alien film, I love Fede Alvarez, I like the Alex practical effects, and then they brought on Ridley Scott, so then I was excited. But you never know how the rest of the world's going to take a film because Aliens, of course, 95, 96 overall percent critic score, audience scores. But then you get into 3, Resurrection, AVP, 1, and Requiem. You get Prometheus, Covenant, which aren't hated, but they're not like beloved. They have a 70 and I think it's like a 72 and like a 60 something, but not important to this. So when Romulus came out, I was so nervous because I wanted everyone to like it as much as I did. I love Alien Romulus. I think it's a great point into this world. I think the castings were unbelievable. Kaylee Spaney, Isabella Mercado, Trevor Newland, who does the Xenomorph work in this one, and then David Johnson as Andy. Most underrated performance of the year. I think he was incredible. Aileen Wu as Navarro, Spike Firm as Bajorn, and then Archer Renux as Tyler Harrison. And what's his name's also in this? Oh my god. But yeah, absolutely fantastic film. I think Fede Alvarez knocked it out of the park. I think this resurrected a franchise that truly needed like a big swing success-wise. And I think they got it with Alien Romulus. I loved Covenant. I really wanted to see a sequel to what happens next. But if we can't have that, maybe this film meets up with what's going on with David in Prometheus and Covenant. Because, I mean, they're not that far apart, and David can't die anyway. But I'm really excited because they did confirm that there will be a sequel that Fede Alvarez is going to direct. And Ridley Scott's also directing an Alien sequel. And we're getting Alien Earth, the TV series. So there's a lot of more coming from this franchise. I'm very excited, also a little bit nervous, but not as important. So this film currently has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And it has an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And you can watch this on Disney, Hulu, YouTube, or Amazon Prime. Next is another legacy sequel that I don't think anyone thought was going to be as enjoyable as it was, and that is Twisters. A film that I think when it got announced, people were like, why? We don't need this film. This is not something that's important. And then you get the cast that you get around it, and you're like, oh, makes sense why we need more of this. We got Glenn Powell as Tyler Owens, Kieran Shipka as 80, Anthony Ramos as Javi, David Cornsweet as Scott, Maura Tierney as Kathy, Daisy Edgar Jones as Kate Carter, Sasha Lane as Lily, Daryl McCormick as Jeb. Like, you got all these. Oh, Kaylin M. O'Brien as Danny, and Brandon Pereira as Boone. Like, that is a bunch of young, popular actors that joined for this franchise. And this film was fantastic. They used so much practical filmmaking for this. And I mean, if you go behind the scenes and see what Lee Isaac Chung did, the dude did a fantastic job, and he deserves every bit of credit that he got for this. For those who don't know, he also did Minari, and he's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable film. But yeah, this film had a $155 million budget, and I'm pretty sure it smashed that, right? Yeah, it ended up making 300 and I just lost the number. $370 million, 371 really, on a budget of 155, which is a pretty solid turnaround, especially for a legacy sequel. I don't know what people thought. I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible, and I thought it was a bad career choice for Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones, but I was wrong. Has a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, at 75% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, with a 90% audience score. People loved this film. It did really well in areas that were hit by natural disasters. And yeah, I think Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones are just setting themselves up to be absolute superstars in Hollywood. And Anthony Ramos is also doing a great job taking on these bigger productions, because he just didn't. What did he just do? Oh yeah, he did Transformers, Rise of the Beast. Glenn Powell's in every movie ever. Daisy Edgar Jones is just a fantastic actress. So they continue to improve and improve and improve. And yeah, this film's so much fun. Go check it out. It is on Peacock, YouTube, and Amazon Prime. We got 4 more for you guys. This one is, to me, a surprise because of how good it is. And that is Heretic, the Hugh Grant horror film starring Sophia Thatcher and Chloe East, Topher Grace, and then Ellie McKinnon. Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed is probably in my top performances of the year, and this movie is nuts. Quick synopsis is two young missionaries become ensnared in a deadly game of cat and mouse when they knock on the door of a diabolical Mr. Reed. Trapped in his home, they must turn to their faith if they want to make it out alive. This was directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who also wrote this film. Again, another A24 Productions. And it was nominated for a BAFTA. And then Chung-Hoon Chung did the cinematography for this film. He did it a great job. Another really just pretty movie. Nothing crazy. Like, there's a lot of slow. It's a slow burn, but the shots that need to be like beautifully and slow and show something are fantastic. He also famously did Old Boy and Last Night in Soho, the Edgar Wright film. But yeah, this movie was unbelievable. A movie that I didn't know. I was kind of like, oh, great. Now, Hugh Grant is a horror character. This is just not going to work. And I think Connor, my friend who we've talked about a bunch on the show, he put it perfect. Excuse me. Mr. Reed, you want to sit and have a cup of tea with him and talk with him while having a gun aimed at him to make sure he doesn't do anything crazy. Because his charisma, Hugh Grant's charisma is unbelievable. The dude is just perfect in this role. And then Sophie Thatcher's unbelievable. The 3 main characters, Chloe East as Sister Paxton, and Chloe East as Sister Paxton, and Sophie Thatcher as Sister Barnes, also unbelievable. Topher Grace doesn't really do much. She's just Elder Kennedy, but unbelievable film. And if you believe in any religion, or if you like studying religion, learning about all the different types, this is the movie for you, because there's a scene. It's like a 5-minute sequence of Hugh Grant explaining the parallels in all religions, and it may be my favorite scene of the entire year. But yeah, it has a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes, 7 out of 10 on IMDb, 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 3.6 on Google. And I'm surprised because of something with, how do I say it? Something that had to do with religion, which isn't the most beloved thing in Hollywood, especially like audience members don't really like talking about it. Had a 76 audience score, which I was shocked of. But yeah, I'm shocked at how good this movie. I knew it could have been scary, but it's the only downside is that it's not really a horror movie. It's more just like a drama thriller. But Hugh Grant's performance should have been nominated for an Oscar, in my opinion. He was absolutely perfect in this movie. We got 3 films left for you, and this one could be my number 1 biggest surprise of the year, and that is Terrifier 3. Damien Leone, you sick man. This movie had a $2 million budget, which they've increased so much from the first film, which I think the first one was $25,000, and the second one $250,000. And now to get $2 million and then make $90 million, I mean, it's unreal. It's the highest earning non-rated film ever. And David Howard Thorne as Arthur Clown. You should be punished for being as scary as you are. There's no reason you should be that terrifying. And then Lauren Lavera as Sienna Shaw, perfect. And she's not in the first film. She's in the second and third one, but she's perfect for this franchise. Chris Jericho's in this movie. Very short, but pretty funny to see. Victoria Hayes, Samantha Scafati is in it. Elliot Fulham, he plays Jonathan from the second film and in this one. Awesome. Does a great job. Antonella Rose is Gabby Shaw. Gabby is going to be, I think, a huge part in the fourth film in this franchise. Our Margaret Ann Florence, Jess Shaw, has one of the most gruesome deaths I've ever seen. Bryce Johnson is Greg Shaw. I feel like there was someone else like Mason McCarta has the most brutal. Him and Jess Shaw and Cole have two of the worst deaths ever in film. And then Alex Blair Robertson plays Mia. She gets what she deserves in this movie because she's horrible. But yeah, this movie is it's a hard one to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's one of the most disturbing things I've ever watched. I've watched it twice, which the second time made it so much harder to watch. Knowing what was going to happen made it so much worse. Quick synopsis. After surviving Art the Clown's Halloween massacre, Sienna and her brother struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. As the holiday season approaches, they try to embrace the Christmas spirit and leave the horrors of the past behind. However, when they think they're safe, Art returns, determined to turn their holiday cheer into a new nightmare. This movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes. Thank God, because it's a good runtime. I felt like it went by fast. The second one and the first one, I genuinely dislike the first two. I do not think they're good. I don't get why people like them so much. I enjoyed this one. As crazy as that sounds, my girlfriend thinks it's psychotic. And I won't watch it again. There's no way. But I'm very excited to see the fourth one. And he says he's going to try and up it again. I don't know how you can up it. The opening to this movie is wild. This whole movie is wild. There's a domestic terrorism moment in this movie. Everything about it is crazy. But yeah, I mean, people enjoy this movie. It made $90 million. It has a 78 on Rotten Tomatoes, 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 83% on Google. I wonder what the audience score is on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes audience score. So quick critical synopsis, consensus, I'm sorry. Taking an axe to Yuletide cheer and everything else in its path, Terrifier 3 is a bloody, fantastic stocking stuffer for the holiday season. Definitely bloody. Audiences say stepping up the ante, the bloody, disgusting gore fest in Terrifier 3 cements Art the Clown as an iconic horror villain for the ages and sequels to come. Expect arts lurking this Halloween. I definitely agree. Art the Clown has become one of those in that S-tier echelon of horror slasher characters, up there with Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Michael, and Ghostface. Terrifier 3. Go check it out. I mean, you can watch it. I think it's free on YouTube, right? It's on YouTube, it's on Apple TV, and it's on Amazon Prime. Do not watch this movie if you get grossed out by gore. I'm telling you again, do not watch it if you get grossed out by gore. And now there was the two final films on this list. The one is very recent. That's the next one I'm doing. And then this one. So this film, I genuinely thought was going to be one of the worst movies of the year. And I couldn't have been more wrong. And that is Smile 2, which was directed by Parker Finn, who directed the first one. Charlie Saroff, who did the cinematography. Unbelievable. Music by Cristobal Tapia de Veer. She was amazing. The music in this was so scary. And Charlie Saroff, this dude, what else? He hasn't done anything huge things, right? Yeah, I don't know how you do Night Swim. And he did Smile 1 as well, which was unbelievable. But yeah, I'm so excited to see more of him. Charlie Saroff is a very underrated cinematographer, and he needs more credit because he is great. I actually might try and get him on the podcast. Maybe I'll get him and the guy from Violent Nature on here because they were both two of the best of the year. But yeah, quick synopsis for Smile 2. About to embark on a new world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley begins to experience increasingly terrifying, inexplainable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and pressures of fame, she must face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. And this movie made $131 million, so people love these movies. But first off, the cast. Naomi Scott as Sky Riley. I loved her. I thought she was unbelievable. Kyle Gallagher as Joel, who's also in the first one. One of the best openings to a film is this movie. Smile 2's opening was fantastic. Peter Jacobson as Morris, Raul Castillo as Darius, Rosemary DeWitt as Elizabeth via her mother, Lucas Gage as Lewis, Dylan Galula as Gemma, Naomi Scott's best friend in this movie, and then Ray Nicholson, Jack Nicholson's son. He has maybe 5 minutes of screen time, and he is terrifying. And I am very down with the idea of him being the Joker, if they're going to do a Joker in the DC universe. So I'm very interested to see him do more. I don't think he's been in that much, right? Yeah, not really. Oh, he's in that new movie Novocaine. The one with fucking... What was I going to say? The one with... Jack Quaid. But it says he's in Licorice Pizza. Oh. He plays a character named Ray. That's pretty funny. But yeah, Smile 2 was terrifying. If you like the first one, you're going to love this one. It is so scary. And it has an 67 on Metacritic, 70 on Google, 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 86% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes with 81% audience score. This film continues. This universe is going to expand so much now, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here. And I just can't wait to see what happens next. I think this was a great sequel, and it really sets up this world if they want to keep doing more. But yeah, Sling TV, MGM Plus, Paramount Plus, and YouTube. What a terrible list of streaming services. You can also get on Amazon Prime for free. And the last film that I'm going to be talking about is probably the newest one. It's still currently in theaters. I think it's the only one I'm talking about that's still in theaters. And that is Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. I just saw this film. First off, I'm a huge sucker for Gerard Butler films. I love Gerard Butler. He was in the movie Plane last year, which I think made my list of biggest surprises, or he might have just slipped down my top 10 last year. Such a great time. So this one is a sequel to Den of Thieves 1, which came out a while ago, but we're getting more. And of course, this stars Gerard Butler, Even Ahmad, Cyril Gain, Meadow Williams, Salvatore Esposito, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Rico Verhoeven, and Michael Bisping's in it. And he actually has a pretty important role in this movie. But yeah, the whole cast in this movie is really good. Where's the dude? One dude gets it's a really sucky ending in this movie. Oh yeah, Dino Kelly, you're a dick in this movie. Very good at playing the dick though. Stefan Cologne. Fantastic in this. This movie is the perfect dad film. Like, if you guys know, I think you guys know what I mean when I say that. It is so much fun. Gerard Butler's just an asshole. Nick O'Brien. But yeah, synopsis really quick. Lawman Big Nick O'Brien gets embroiled in the treacherous and unpredictable world of diamond thieves as he pursues career criminal Donnie Wilson to Europe. He had chased down Donnie Wilson in the first film, and he doesn't catch him. But in this one, he decides to flip sides. Cops gone bad. And he decides to join Donnie and join him on the heist into the World Diamond Center. But yeah, I mean, Gerard Butler is the best B actor in the world. He does these action movies and he pumps them out, and they're all awesome. They are good times. They are legitimate films. And who directed this one? Christian Gudguest. This dude just pumps out. But yeah, this man just keeps pushing out these films, and I mean, I didn't realize that he had done London Has Fallen. He did Plane. He did Den of Thieves. I mean, Plane was a really fun time. Yeah, people agree with me. Plane has positive reviews. He worked on 2008 Speed Racer, which I do not think is that good, but some people really liked it. But yeah, this film currently has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.6 out of 10 IMDb, 79 on Fandango, and a 79% audience score. This film is so much, I mean, it's generally a great time. And Gerard Butler continues to prove that he's one of the most entertaining actors working. I think this might be my favorite character of his. I did really like him in Plane. I know they're making a sequel to Plane called Ship, but we'll see. And O'Shea Jackson continues to be awesome. Just a badass in every movie that he's in. He was in the Bear one too, right? He was in Cocaine. Yep. He's in Den of Thieves, Straight Outta Compton, Den of Thieves 2, and Cocaine Bear. What a shot of like 4 really fun films. But yeah, I love this movie. I had a really great time with it, and I kind of hope they make a third one because Gerard Butler is that guy, and I just want to watch more and more of his action films. Because I'm trying to think of yeah, this dude just pumps out action films, and they are so much fun. I can't wait. But yeah, that is the final film on my biggest surprises of 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a fun time doing this list. I had a fun time watching all these movies this year. And yeah, I hope you guys go check out some of these movies. They are a lot of fun. I think really go check out Den of Thieves 2 while it's still in theaters. And yeah, come back later this week. Actually, I think it's coming on Monday. Monday, our best and worst films of the year episode will be coming out, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. Continue to watch us on Twitch, the_popcorn_pod, on Instagram, the_popcorn_podcast, TikTok, the popcorn_pod, YouTube. Check us out everywhere. Continue to support this channel, and we thank you so much, and we can't wait to do the next episode. Later, everyone.